Hi everyone, welcome and thank you so much for joining the LA Harbor College Transfer Center for assistance with your Cal State Long Beach supplemental application. To get started, we're going to go ahead and go over the agenda. So we're going to be discussing what is the Cal State Long Beach supplemental application, what to expect on the application, and a Q&A at the end. So to get started, you will have received an email from Cal State Long Beach asking you to complete the supplemental application. That's going to be due on February 1st, 2021. So you actually want to make sure that you turn it in, very soon because that deadline is coming soon. The website also to access the supplemental application link in the event that you might have accidentally deleted your email, something like that, is right here. So you could go ahead and screenshot that if you need to. You can also Google search CSULB supplemental application and it will appear for you too. Now to enter the supplemental application, you're going to need the last 4 digits of your social security number or ITIN. You also need your birth date month and your birthday. Once you put that information in, you hit submit and then it'll let you get started. So the way the supplemental application looks when you first log in, it'll show your name, your major, campus ID number for Long Beach, and your fall 2021 should be the term. Now when you first start, each of these sections is going to have little red boxes. Once you're done with the application, they're going to turn into little green check marks. And each one of these is hyperlinked to a section in that application. So you click on general information and it'll take you that part. If you left off on college work, it'll take you to that part. And anything that you're still missing will have a red square. And like I said before, just a friendly reminder, this application is due on February 1st, 2021. And I do want to give you a little tip. Sometimes my students will tell me that they got so anxious to turn it in that they did it early, but then no one checked it and they realized they made a mistake. The good thing is if that happened to you, you can still come back to the transfer center and we can check it for you. And actually you can make changes and then update it again. You can update it as many times as you need to before Monday, February 1st, 2021. That's why it says you can return and update your answers if needed until the deadline on Monday, February 1st, 2021. So if you accidentally submitted it and you know you might have made a mistake or two and you need just help reviewing it, it's okay. There is still the chance to turn it in correctly. So the welcome section will ask if you're earning an associate degree for transfer, it will ask about your ADT. So some examples of our ADTs include the Psychology Associate of Arts for transfer, the Math Associate of Science for transfer, Administration of Justice Associate of Science for transfer, Early Childhood Education Associate of Science for transfer. We have many degrees that are ADTs. These are special transfer degrees, and for Long Beach, they do need to be done by the end of spring 2021 for fall 2021 admission. So if you know spring is your last semester to earn that degree, you're going to mark planned here, spring 2021, and you're going to put yes, it's deemed similar as long as it is deemed similar, okay? A counselor can help you determine if it is or is not deemed similar. Glad to do that with you. Only takes a couple minutes, so we'll do that together if you need help with that. Now the next section is college work. In the college work section, asks specifically about AP scores. If you have scores of a 3 or higher, you want to put yes here because that's AP credit, excuse me. There's also International Baccalaureate credit, also known as IB scores. Quite uncommon, but they do exist. And then also there is the CLEP exam, CLEP. So you just put yes or no. Most of my students put no for these, and it does happen sometimes my students have AP scores, but not always very common. So just answer according to your records, okay? And you will know if you do or do not have AP or IB scores. The next thing, a counselor can help you make sure that this section is correct. So the colleges attended section, sorry, let me go back. This part is going to ask you about all the colleges that you attended, and you want to include all of them. So let's say, for example, I've been going to Harbor College this entire time, but maybe I decided I want to take one extra class at LA Trade Tech in spring, right? That means I need to have Trade Tech as my other school that I include, and then I'm taking a class there from February 2021 to June 2021. You also want to check your transcripts very carefully to make sure you include every single college attended, including our sister schools. If you ever took a class at a sister school, your transcript will tell you if you did. You want to make sure that you put that in. And a counselor will definitely help you in making sure all of that is correct too. Don't feel like after this workshop is over, you can't ask any questions. That's why we have a Q&A, and that's why we check each application individually with our students to make sure everything's good to go. The next section asks about cumulative transfer GPA. So this is different than the GPA that's on your transcript in many cases for most students, because many of our students have a mix of transferable and sometimes 1 or 2 non-transferable classes, sometimes more. But that's why a counselor will help do the math with you by hand to determine what your transfer GPA is. And that's going to go here. It's also listed in Cal State Apply in the Calculate My Transfer GPA section of the application. However, it's still good to do the math by hand, to have a guide, because the CSU application it auto-generates it for you, but if you made a mistake on your application, then you'll actually have an inaccurate transfer GPA, and that's not really what we want. We want it to be correct, so that's why we definitely do the math by hand with you. It will also ask about total transferable units. You want to make sure that, yes, you are finishing 60 by the end of the semester, by the end of spring, excuse me, and a counselor will check those units with you. General education units, I'll ask if you're having at least 30 done. If you're getting CSU certified, GE certified, or GETC certified, yes, you are going to have 30 or more general education units. And then academic standing. You definitely want to be in good academic standing at the time that you transfer. So yes is the correct answer there. Now major prep specifically for your major will appear in this section here. Minimum lower division major preparation. So in this example, it was a business student. So they asked what was your grade in Econ 100? Now at our college, we don't have a class named Econ 100. We have a class named Econ 1. So what a counselor would need to work with you on is going into assist.org and seeing what Econ 100 is at Harbor College, and from there, that's where you put your grade for the Econ class that you took, okay? So this part, again, it does take some care from a counselor, so that way we can check it for you. That's why I think a lot of my students get a little bit nervous with this application, is because it asks many technical questions that really are best to be answered with support from a counselor. And that is why we have these workshops for our students. Now the last thing is your certification of accuracy and completion. So as long as you agree with these terms, you select yes and hit finish and you're done. And I just want to go back to one other thing here in this section where it says minimum lower division major preparation. Now think of this as a very significant part of your application. Now if you see that on your major it says that they want the equivalent of Econ 100 completed by the time spring semester ends, and you, instead of putting completed with a C or better or planned, if you put not planned, please know that that is a huge red flag for Cal State Long Beach, and they can disqualify you from admission for not even planning that class. They do want that class to be done by the end of spring. Does that make sense? I hope so. And then if it doesn't make sense or you have questions, we're now going to be turning it over to the... So as you can see, once you're done with the application and you click that finish button here after you hit yes, all of these boxes will turn into green check marks. Then you can click send me an email and it will save a receipt of your response for you in an email. So like we said before, this is due on February 1st, 2021. It's very important that you answer everything exactly as Long Beach needs you to secure your admission. But we're gonna turn this over to the question and answer section to get your questions answered. Thank you so much for joining us for this workshop, and I appreciate you all joining us, whether it's in person or on YouTube.